All right, I want to look at gold here. We're getting our first real corrective move after this bottom here. I'm not really sure whether this is going to turn out to be a half cycle low or a full daily cycle low. This daily cycle here was really short, which makes me think that this would be long, and in that scenario, then this would turn out to be just a half cycle low, and probably doesn't have much further to go. Might even possibly bottom tomorrow on the FOMC meeting. It's a potential trigger event to turn everything. In the advancing phase of an intermediate cycle, price doesn't tend to stay oversold very long before the next rally starts. Now, granted, this is the 3-day RSI, which is what I usually use to look for a half cycle low bottom. And if that's what this is, then more often than not, it only takes the 3-day RSI getting oversold before the market turns and rallies. On the other hand, though, if this is if we're just dealing with kind of short daily cycles here, then and this is moving down into a daily cycle low, then it's probably going to last a little longer than just tomorrow, and and often the 5-day RSI will have to get oversold before the market turns in and moves back up. And in that scenario, it's completely conceivable that gold come back down and test this 50-day moving average before finding that daily cycle low, and then we get our next leg up. Um, but this should be a buying opportunity either way, whether it's a very minor half cycle low or a little bit deeper daily cycle low. We're just not really going to know until after the FOMC meeting and see where we get a swing. I'm going to at least need to see a swing before I would try and call a bottom to this minor correction. And um, assuming this continues into tomorrow, then we couldn't get a swing until at least till Thursday, and gold would have to move back above today's peak, which would be at about, let's call it 1777, right in here. Um, but again, I'm convinced we're in the advancing phase of an intermediate cycle, so this should just be a corrective move and an ongoing intermediate advance, and it'll be a buying opportunity for anybody that didn't get in or wants to add to positions. I just want to let this run long enough to be convinced that the correction is over before pulling the trigger on new positions. And I'm leaning more towards the next phase of this intermediate cycle, maybe being heavier in silver than in miners. So here's the silver chart again. We've got this really long consolidation. Um, it's been much harder for the cartel to push silver down than gold and miners. They've been fairly successful the last week attacking the miners and attacking gold, preventing it from getting above 1800. We knew they were going to do that. They're going to try and prevent it from getting above 1850, and they're going to hit it again at 1900. They're going to try at every one of these um, resistance zones to stop the rally in gold. Gold, as I said, gold is the canary in the coal mine for inflation, and so governments will always try to keep gold contained um, as a way to keep the commodity markets in check when they're printing too much money. Governments want that liquidity to go into financial assets like stocks and bonds. They don't want it going into commodities, and this is just how they try to control the commodity markets by controlling the precious metals. But I think they're going to lose control, and right now silver is just, and it has been for the last 8 months. It's just behaving better than the rest of the precious metal market in general, and I think at some point here we're going to get a big move higher in silver. We just have to get through this correction. So the same strategy will apply with silver. I'm going to wait for a swing before I want to put money to work in the silver market. At least a swing as a sign that the corrective move is over, and we'll see here. Maybe while gold and miners correct downward, silver may just turn sideways, which would be a very bullish sign of strength in the silver market. So we'll see what happens after the Fed meeting tomorrow.